Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and Thorfinn and Canute are about to come face to face. At least I think that's what's about to happen. That's definitely how I would write it. There are definitely circumstances where people could be like, haha, we're not going to talk to you or let you see the king. But come on, man, this is what we've been building to for the whole season, maybe the whole show. This might be the point of the show. We gotta just say that out here before we dive into Vinland Saga Season 2, Episode 21. This might be the point of the show, the place where things collide, because this is a collision, and it's one that's laden with a bunch of weight that I had honestly and genuinely kind of forgotten about. I knew that Thorfinn and Canute had been in similar circles, but a piece of me had just, let slip through my brain just how important they were to each other. That it was Thorfinn's needling that gets Canute to actually speak for the first time when he's amongst Askeladd's men. That it is Thorfinn who, in a rage, after seeing Askeladd die, strikes out at Canute and gives him the scar that he carries to this day. These two men's journeys are intertwined and now separated, and now they're coming back together again. And so that's what I drew today. On the backdrop of the world itself, with sunrise, but the potential of the future on the horizon, two paths lead forward. One of them is a staircase that's being climbed step by step, and the other is a river that, in my mind, is flowing the wrong direction and you're swimming against it. One is Thorfinn's path and one is Canute's, and they might just be aiming at the same place. And I'm not sure if I've been completely correct in my estimation of what we're sort of depicting here. Whether we're depicting Thorfinn as the right way forward and Canute as the old way forward, or like some backward way that still incorporates too much of the old in and too much blood, too much violence in moving toward the future. But with something as finicky as peace, as humans' capacity for peace, maybe both have really solid arguments to be made. Maybe Thorfinn's desire to create a peaceful world without violence to create it inherently, cuts off a lot of those people who don't have a chance to start anew. And for those people, the only way to get toward any sort of peace or any sort of freedom is going to be through a gauntlet of blood. And Canute is taking that on himself. And I think that there's a lot that we can criticize in his decision-making, and there's a lot that we can criticize. We have the disembodied head of his cackling father egging him on in his violent pursuits. Like, these violent delights have violent ends, and that's woven into the fabric of our story. But we're also saying that maybe what Canute is doing in his aim is good too. I'm not sure. I just thinking about this episode before this episode has sort of blown the series open a little bit and made me question myself a little bit too, which is important but scary. So, with every opportunity to flee and be safe, to take him and his, Einar, the few people he cares about most directly, and to leave the dead to be dead. Most of the farm is fucking dead. To leave his slavers to their fate, to leave the farmhands to their fate, Thorfinn can leave. He can be free. But he thinks he can accomplish something by going back, and so he has to. And so he must. And it's like his whole soul rides on this moment. Because he's got this huge hope for the distant future, but if he can't make this first step, if he can't accomplish something in the face of violence here, is there really any hope for that future? And so Thorfinn sets off to go speak to Canute. Let's join him. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Vinland Saga, episode 21 of season 2, titled Courage. May we all have the courage that we need to stand for what we believe in when it matters. There'll be two versions of this reaction video, picture-in-picture in the description, timer on YouTube, PiP timer to count you down, and early access on the Patreon. Also, I'll start saying this early. There will be a poll. It'll probably go up when, like, the last episode or two are up on Patreon and not yet up on YouTube. So consider joining the Patreon to get information about the poll and what ends up being on there, because it's going to be some exciting stuff for Friday in particular, I think, and I hope. Let's watch episode 21, PiP timer. Hello, Canute. Hello, Dead. Depends on who's in charge right now. Temporarily? Oh. A line. Okay. Yeah, a time-honored tradition. We want this space. We don't want it destroyed. This could be a sticking point, though. Yeah, but his men are not gonna like it. And neither does he. Those tensions are becoming really finicky. Whoa. I don't know. That's true. That's true. Oh. Is it a throne? No, it's a road! It's a road, of course. Grief. Loss. A new light. That was very powerful with the light and then the light fading. This is a hell of an intro already, just with the complete lack of music and the rushing waves and the feel of it. Whoa. An aftermath. The remaining resistance. Oh, yeah! Olmar! Olmar stuff. I'm so excited for Olmar stuff. Oh, CG. Fuck. Yep. He might not be able to look after himself. Yeah. Oh, shit. Oh, he's haunted by his own. It's not the number of kills you've got. It's how they weigh on you. God damn. We're setting this up for her to get really hurt, and now I'm scared. Maybe not near the corpses. Fuck. Mm-hmm. Oh my god. No recommendation at all. He's just gonna take that because he knows she doesn't fucking know. Yeah, she doesn't know. He'll fight until he's dead, I think. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. But no, wait. It's an if, dude. It's an if. Fucking suicidal idiot. Fucking Snake just sighing. Thank you, Spherical. Shut the fuck up, kiddo. Huh? You're too old. What? What? He designated Olmar as his heir? I suppose. Oh, you're right. I suppose. Holy shit. Holy fuck, it comes down to him? Incredible. Come on, man, you saw the dead. The pressure on him is to fight. You're correct. Now Snake needs to step in. But we will all fucking die. First honest thing. God damn it, yes. The courage to be a coward here. Yes. He didn't know. He didn't know. He knew not what he did. Holy shit. That's true. He was gonna find a way. Oh, good answer. Good answer. Yeah. Whoa. by killing that guy. Yeah, you don't get it. No, it was cowardice. Yeah, because it can disappear. All the violence and anger can disappear if you just don't respond. It doesn't have to go anywhere. It can sink away. Fuck yeah. And there's bravery in his fucking face. And he stands up to his brother. And in doing so, he stands up to the whole culture that Thorgil represents. And Sverkel's behind him. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, Snake. Snake, that's a man you should stand beside. He's leaving. I think he's just gonna walk away. Or he's gonna walk into death. I don't know. That seems pretty dumb. It's a fucking hard line to walk. What have you traded it for? The little smile from Sverkel. Holy shit. What a worthwhile trade. Hmm. Hmm. deep faith. So now are we finally gonna turn our attention to it? For the second half of the episode? We're finally coming here. Okay. Let's do it. Stage is set. What a familiar place. Here we go. Oh, man. Hi, what's up? Ha ha ha. Take the mockery, take being laughed at, the courage. Let him know I'm here. Yep, we done met. Now he's gonna test him somehow. Probably physically. You protect his majesty? How could you possibly? He's gonna actually move if you really move on him. Oh, this is making a scene though. That's good. Yes. Who is it? Well, he's a weird blonde kid. No! Yeah! Blondie? Huh, weird. Huh? Huh? He knows Tors. He knows him. But also... No, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, yep. Too bad. I wonder what the it won't be necessary is. Yeah, you're making a fool of him. Yeah. She's thinking about options. Bets? Oopto. Fuck. Einar. You should not be here. That's so sweet. Yeah. He needs to get through to Canute. The money, man. How long you'll last? As many as you can give me. What if we repeat the, like, stand there and take it sort of scene? It'll get them to all shut up. Oh my god. I mean, he's betting on his own ability to withstand punishment? Are you kidding? Just let me through to talk to Canute. Now it's a part of the group's game, yeah. Now you can't get away from it. $100. This is about your ability to withstand punishment. That's easy for him, right? That's so crazy, but it's been set up. That's easy. He's been in hell, man. He has a chance. It gives him an opportunity. Oh, whoa. That's crazy how far we've come. It's just a little more suffering, right? It's deeply Christian. It's the sacrifice that saves the world. It's like taking the pain onto yourself. But it's recast. It's in a different way. It's much more human. Yeah, that's the problem. He's gonna be trying to kill you with every punch. But of course he'll do it. Emperor of Rebellion. Well, I'm really tempted to do a double, but the truth is that I genuinely don't have time today, which sucks, and I might end up recording tomorrow just to get the next episode in while I'm fresh on it. But I still think there's a lot to talk about here. The cliffhanger sort of tempts me to get into it and get right into that moment of like, wow, Thorfinn has made this decision to go through with this thing. Let's get right to it and experience the suffering. But like, do we really need to? I know the setup and I know what's gonna happen. I don't know where Thorfinn's gonna go inside to like be strong through it, but it will echo the themes. It will be about the 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 themes themselves, the core of the decision, and it might connect him to Ashland, it might connect him again to his father, it might connect him to all sorts of things, but I think I'm comfortable with taking that and being like, all right, we're gonna grapple with that whole picture when we get to that whole picture. I want to talk about Olmar. I want to talk about Olmar. I want to talk about the expectations. I want to talk about the courage to be weak, because I think it's something that is almost a meme. It's common enough that I can, if I point at it in the right way, you'll realize what I'm saying. It's almost a meme to be like the strength of weakness in anime, right? Oh yes, the courage to be your true weak, vulnerable self is kind of it's a commonish theme, but it's rarely done super beautifully in a way that isn't thin in some way. Yeah? This doesn't feel thin in any way to me. Olmar's story put together this way finally makes sense to me in a way that it really didn't before. And it's stunning. I think it's stunning. I think it, oh man. I don't think that I've ever seen a story utilize this kind of shame this way and have him act on it and then come all the way around to regretting it. Olmar acts in alignment with his culture because he's forced to, because every circumstance around him pushes him in that direction, and yet through some strange mutation in the social perspective inside his mind, he comes away disgusted by this thing that all of his peers are enamored by. What the hell is going on there? It's fascinating. And I think it serves as like, here is our redemptive example in a family born of blood and slavery, with a big brother that he looks up to wholeheartedly, who is that, with a father who is Iron Fist. A person still has hope of changing, of being able to make choices too. And you don't, like, your ability to make those choices doesn't end after your first transgression. You can still make another choice to not do it again, or to prevent bigger fucking disasters further. It's incredible, and it's kind of woven throughout the episode. That's kind of where we start, is that you don't have to make every decision down a path just because you've made one. There's always room for restraint, and there's moral weight to it. There's a tendency for people to tumble down the stairs when they could stop themselves at any stair, and then they'll blame the whole set of actions on the first tumble, like it's all deterministic, but that removes your own agency. You had the choice every time. The reason that I bring this up is because of where we start in the episode. Canute doesn't want to let them pillage, right? Here's a line. In norm-wise, we tumble down that line. Yes, we're going to take over the farm, and we're going to kill people who are there, and we're going to pillage and rape and destroy. Canute says, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and then we're going to stop ourselves, and we're not going to go further. And there's a, we want to go further, though. It's right, it's normal, it's the way to go, is to go further. And Canute goes, no, we stop here. There's a chance for agency, I choose here. No. There's grumbliness around that. But then, in a different context, we've got Olmar going along with his family. He goes along, then he stops. He hits a point where he can't do it. He won't do it, and he stops. And that doesn't like, it doesn't wash clean the previous choices he's made. It doesn't wash clean the blood that's on his hands, but it doesn't add more. And it's the only way that you can stop and start to reverse things, right? Because we have to believe in the frame of our story, we have to believe in redemption, we have to believe in hope, because there's hope for Thorfinn. Thorfinn's killed a lot of people. He's done it as part of a society that pushed him to do it. He's done it, and he's made the choice to do it in the micro, even though he really couldn't choose otherwise in the macro. And yet he still carries the moral weight of it, and still believes that he can be redeemed for it. So the same is true for every character, and the same is true for every person. You have a choice to stop. So Canute makes this judgment call that taking the farm is worthwhile. A certain level of blood is necessary. It's required. Okay? But where does the buck stop? And he says it stops. It stops at pillaging. We're not going that far. It's really interesting that even within a set of horrible, disastrous, war, evil, death blood, there are levels. There are choices to be made. But the biggest choice is to not engage. The biggest choice is to turn the conflict down. The biggest choice is the choice that Olmar makes, finally, that he couldn't make before, to let them laugh at him. And I'm stunned by it. I'm stunned by the writing around it, because it's just perfect. It didn't have to happen that way. It didn't have to happen that way, because he didn't have to respond and retaliate. The whole culture around your honor is all about retaliatory justice. Make sure nobody ever says anything like that about you ever again, by silencing those who did and making afraid those who were thinking it. Retaliate. But what if you just don't? Like, what if the violence stops with you because you refuse to engage? At least you, in the bubble of your own agency, haven't sinned, haven't missed the mark by a broad degree, haven't done something that transgresses sincerely against your own heart, right? If you can let the words wash off of you, then it stops there. It doesn't have to bounce back and, like, particle accelerate itself until it becomes a black hole that sucks everything around it in. It can just stop there, like a blank wall, and just slides down. Easier said than done. We're emotional animals. We have emotional responses to things. Maybe that's what being civilized is. Maybe that's what being more than a beast is. Maybe that's what we should be striving for. Is the ability to be a place where pain stops. Where you don't contribute back. Where you don't engage in the push-pull in a way that makes everything unstable. Where you just stay stable and don't let it affect you to the extent that you can. Such is something like nobility. Such is courage. A particular kind of it. Whoa. Svein's mockery in this sequence is so incredible, as we have the bodies arranged before us, all their parts put out, and cackles. Don't you understand? This is the job. A duty too heavy for the common mind. The world is a hellscape, and hell has its own laws. This is something really compelling, because I think it comes back to the idea that I was starting to talk about at the very beginning, that maybe in huge portions of the world, they're still bound by hell's laws, and the only way to... You can't just enforce a new system of laws on top of that. You have to unbuild it through those laws first. Like, there's something true to Canute, to Canute's idea that only through violence will we purge violence from this land, But at the same time, there's also something entirely true about Thorfinn's idea that through violence, only more violence will be born. And I don't fucking know how to solve this problem. It's like intractable. And partly that's because Canute's already on this path, right? But then so would Thorfinn be, right? Oh gosh, I don't know. Keep killing until your course-lined road reaches paradise. Man, I love the drawing. I love it. I love it. I think that this scene of Einar at the grave is beautifully shot, and produces an emotional context, but I'm not exactly sure what that emotional context is besides just grief, sadness, and then the moment of realizing that Thorfinn is gone. But I really like the light in it. I imagine that we're trying to mimic the manga's use of light, but there's this feeling like we get this light right next to Einar here, and it's almost it sort of flows, okay? It flows like a skirt, like the skirt that we see Arnheid like dancing in the OP. So this beam of light is almost as though she's standing next to him. It's strange, but in this cut-in, confined form, I see her standing next to him, right? She's standing there. Very strange, but it's as though she's here. And then he looks up, he examines and sees her grave, hears her gratitude inside his mind, sees this scene again, and then realizes that Thorfinn is gone. Right here, this is an aspect that I really love about this OP. There are a bunch of scenes that are direct aspects of the show, but they're altered and made more ethereal and more vibe filled, and those vibes don't quite land until the elements have happened in the show. Like, there's a feeling around Arnheid in the OP here that there's great loss and trauma and pain around this whole sequence, but it doesn't quite land until it lands, and then that even has more impact because it recolors this scene, recolors that scene in the show where he's sitting next to the grave. I think that's really cool. I love when shows affect their own interpretation. It's a powerful conveyance tool, I think. Olmar in terror. Whoa. We spend some time with flailing soon-to-be corpses. Just true pain and death and hopelessness. People asking to be killed. The father begging him to take care of his daughter. And this is the daughter that he was messing around with in the beginning, yeah? This is the horror. He's really seeing the reality of it. And it's perfect. We never see his brother seeing this or like experiencing it or walking through it. I wonder how he would actually react to these men, like, in agony. Like, he sees them on the battlefield when he's cutting them down, but then he sort of walks off the battlefield. How would he do amongst the dying? What would he say to them? Would he just yell at them that they've stood for their honor and they should die with as much honor? Like, we don't get to find out because in reality, I don't think Thorgil's ever going to go speak to these people or walk amongst them or care. That's something that Olmar is able to open his eyes to, and he wishes he wasn't. He wishes he didn't have to see the truth of the thing, but he sees the truth of the thing. He doesn't see glory on the battlefield. He sees dead people screaming and dying and shitting themselves. And he sees their children holding them down and bandaging their arms futilely as they continue to bleed out. It's like... So I think there's something there in the I wonder what Thorgil would do. It just makes so obvious that Thorgil would never walk through, and even if he did, he'd like ignore them, you know? In his own calculus, like, if they were better warriors, they wouldn't have gotten hurt. Maybe something like that. Some strange gymnastics to justify. But Olmar doesn't have that layered in. He just sees the pain. He sees the truth of it. And it bumps him up against his own trauma. because he sees all this blood as being on his hands. He gets kindness from the girl, but he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't think he deserves it. And so this all weighs on him. Everyone with any kind of authority sat up in this room, and Snake, with a completely blank face and absolutely no opinion to it, just says that they need to decide. I am a sword. I am a machine. Decide where I go. I'll go. And there's such sadness to it. Such sadness to it. But it is the lot he's chosen. It's the path that he's on. I love that the wife comes in and is this voice of a completely detached voice. We've seen very little of the character except having her be angry about Arnheid and like kind of not a great person in general, but the sheer detachment I think is it's amazing. She lives on this farm with these people, and yet she's still this detached. How much more detached can somebody be if they live in a different city or further away from the realities that are going on? I think it's indicative of a kind of personality, of a kind of lack of context and selfishness that is born of insulation and not seeing. It's a piece of the puzzle of the society that pushes for violence, is the people who are non-combatants and yet root for the violence, who enforce it as a piece of what honor means and expect their own protection to be at the expense of others. I refuse! What do they expect? They expect you to die. And then it turns to be on Snake's incompetence. And he just takes it. He's not gonna react. And it's a through line, isn't it? If Snake... What does he gain by reacting here? More violence? More bloodshed? In his own way, Snake has the courage to be laughed at. It's strange. If I say fight, then we fight. Ha ha ha! Yeah, let's do it! Okay, whoa. Hold on. Sverkel brings it up. Actually, he's not in charge. I'm not in charge. And Ketil's not in charge. Olmar is in charge. We set it up. Now it pays off. Olmar is in charge. After everything, he has to stand and answer to his whole family. We'll surrender. Shock! Have you no shame? Yes, he has plenty of shame. He believes he brought this upon all of you. But he's also seen these people die. He knows what it means. And so has every other man in this room. Everyone in this room knows this. Knows this. Everyone except for her. Thorgil is pretty crazy. Snake is pretty jaded, but he knows it. But he's not willing to say it because he follows orders purely, right? Fox knows it too, but Fox is in the machismo. He's a part of it. Sverkel wants Olmar to speak. I don't think Sverkel would be able to say these things. Not in a convincing manner, but he has been becoming aligned with them. I just don't think that he sees himself as having the ability to change the course of things. Maybe he thinks it's not his place because he's a previous generation. I don't know. But what stands out is that throughout his life up to this point, Olmar has been nothing but a liar. He has been false in every way, and now he is completely honest. And he speaks to the things that everyone else says you should be ashamed of. And he is, and he still speaks to them. And that's courage, man. I don't care. I just want it to be over. Thoriel throws it at him. You started this, and it like makes him shudder more. He's like, I know. Don't you get it? I know. That's the whole point. I made him fool of myself and I got ridiculed, and then I got mad and ran my mouth and I made it worse, and then I got violent and made it worse, right? So let me end it. Now, I don't, and I agree with some of what Thorgil is about to say after this, that I don't actually think that all of the moral weight is on Olmar, right? Like, not by a long shot. This was a malicious sting operation that he got entrapped by. He made some foolish decisions that are the same kinds of foolish decisions that every Norseman ever has always made. It's like, fight over your honor. Oh no, he made that decision, right? Some foolish decisions, but the results of those, the consequences of those, are because of things that are outside of his control. It's malicious in its nature. So I agree with what Thorgil is about to say. You didn't really start this. You're not really responsible for all of it. When he says, like, I know it's a terrible thing that I've done to all of you, it's like, that's as though you set out to destroy the farm, Olmar, when actually you set out to do the opposite and didn't understand the consequences of your actions. You acted rashly, and that had big consequences, but it's not like you were acting in order to destroy them. But what does matter, I take responsibility for it, and now that I have the power to change it, I'm gonna change it. So first, he doesn't divest responsibility of the first part. He says, that was my fault, even when it kind of wasn't, and I think there's great power to that. Even if it can destroy you. To bear that weight, you know? That could be too much weight to bear. And yet, if you want to have agency into the future, if you want to believe yourself capable of making positive change, then recognizing that you had an impact on the negative change might be a road to doing that. If you could make it worse, maybe you could make it better. If you started it, maybe you could end it. Amazing. So Thorgil comes up, all right. Poor choice of words. The king was going to do this anyway. Yeah, but it was me. I gave them the excuse. Well, they'll always find a reason to fight. And he's right. There's something true about that. If it wasn't you, it would have been me or Dad. Yes, Canute had a goal and he was going to get there no matter what. Olmar just got entrapped. But you did the right thing, he says. You held up your honor in the heat of the moment. Striking back against those men was correct. And Olmar goes, actually, no. Yes, but actually, no. Right, Olmar? You did the right thing. Your honor is worth more than your life. And he's like disgusted by this. That's not courage, man. You don't get it. No. That's not courage. I made a fool of myself. I deserved to be ridiculed. I should have been being laughed at. I did something shameful and I was shamed for it. And in honesty, that's shame working in its proper, like, evolutionary biology purpose. What's the point of shame? It's a thing that we all have, and we have it for a reason. It's so that you get aware when you're doing something that's going to get you ostracized by the group. It's so that you are made aware that the group doesn't like that thing that you did, so that you change your behavior. And he's saying, like, in the context of this circumstance, this was right. They should have been laughing at me. I'm a laughingstock. I'm a fool. I couldn't even cut a pig. But I didn't have the courage to stand there and be laughed at. So the system doesn't work. Because the shame comes in, and instead of internalizing it and changing and becoming a better Norseman or whatever, he strikes. Tries to fight. Tries to silence that. Gives it more weight by doing so. Gives it validity. And escalates. And escalates. What an antithetical to their idea of honor idea. Mock me if you want. So now he stands with courage to be laughed at. We frame them. He's hunched and small and kind of pathetic, and yet he stands. And he's not going to budge. It's bigger than this. I think that's the attitude you should have towards your own ego, yeah? Come on, man, it's bigger than this. It's powerful stuff. Spherical steps in, and Snake stands beside him. I won't mock you. Ah, bullshit. So Thorgil heads off to somewhere. And Spherical says here, there's something that we're avoiding here by losing everything. Hope you know it. And not only are we avoiding that, we're also trading all of this for something invaluable. With a little smile, your son has become a man. I think that's some of the most beautiful character development I have ever seen, full stop, especially on a side character. Holy Olmar. Holy Olmar. So Einar runs and we talk it through. Leif fully believes that Thorfinn will return. And on this side, we've got Thorfinn in a pretty familiar circumstance, standing up against somebody way bigger who won't take him seriously. But this time, Thorfinn doesn't have the luxury of just cutting his throat in order to get his point across. Thorfinn refuses. He wants to do this through talk, and he wants to do this non-violently as possible. He takes on a very, supplicative. He's a supplicant here. Oh, great masters, I'm just a slave here to talk. But he's vehement. He's not giving up. He's gonna be here. Please let him know that I'm here. So, we get a couple of punches and a bunch of ego, and then the news is actually delivered to Canute, who, well, what a fucking moment. Just the moment. What? Amazing. So I really wonder what he means when he says that won't be necessary. Like, what does he think? What would you like to do? No, that will not be necessary. Will you meet with him? No, that will not be necessary. Like, what? What does he think is going to happen? He thinks he's going to get killed over there? Or is he confident that Thorfinn is going to make it to him eventually and that Canute doesn't need to step in? I don't fucking know. It's just a weird response, I think. It's like, nah, I'm not going to meet with him. Okay. And then on Floki's side, I'm 99.9% sure that Floki knew Thors, but didn't know Thorfinn, but I'm a little finicky on that. I'm just not certain. Very intrigued. He's not hitting him back. He's dancing away. And they're getting interested. There are bets going, but the bets are one-sided. Einar arrives and we talk it through a little bit. But Thorfinn has decided what he's going to do. How many can I bet on? 100. And my reward is to go speak to Canute. We've already seen the moment in the little recap thing, so we know he'll survive it, because he's Thorfinn. But the idea of it is pretty fucking beautiful. If there's suffering inherent in reaching the goal, I'll take the suffering onto myself instead of putting it onto someone else, is what I take from it. I think that's the takeaway here. And it's very Christ-like, and we've had that introduced into the story, so I feel very comfortable saying it. The idea that the individual young man who sacrifices his own safety and body for the sake of the world, like, fits a narrative that has some resonance to it. And I think it might even be stronger here in a strange way because it's more human. Because it's about actual visceral physical suffering. and human rebirth, not the sort of spiritual rebirth that we get in religious texts. I think there's something more accessible and that doesn't immediately put me and many others off from the ideas by couching them in a fiction that could be real. Because Thorfinn as a character, like, I know he's fictional, and yet I still can believe in a character like him existing. His sacrifice is extraordinary, but not so superhuman as to be impossible. It's not quite Kal-El. It's not quite Superman sacrificing himself for the world. As compelling as that kind of a story is, I'm much more interested in the small-scale sacrifices of individual human beings because I'm one of those, and I'd like to know how I might make the proper sacrifices. I don't know that I have the capacity to take on suffering to the degree that Thorfinn is about to, but I do know that in some degree I can follow in his example, and so I am struck by it as a powerful example. He's going to take 100 fist blows, punches, punishment, pain, in order to converse, in order for the chance to talk, and to avoid greater pain for others. He's done a calculus, right? The calculus is the deaths of everybody on this farm versus the significant physical damage to me. A person who, as far as Thorfinn is concerned, I don't think he believes he can be killed by this. I don't believe he can be killed by this. I think he's experienced worse. He's been beaten worse. So it's like, easy. Another day at the office in order to get the thing that I've been striving my whole life for? Great. Let's do it. I've been on this farm for years. I've been working my body into the ground, and I've been beaten into a pulp more than enough times. Let's go. Like, do your worst. And that's kind of fucking crazy, but he's decided that it's worth it. And I think given the framework, the philosophical and emotional framework, it has to be worth it to him. It would always be worth it to him. Even if the scope of the destruction being caused were so much smaller, the chance to step out on a limb and test his ideal is really what's being presented here. Here's your chance to prove it, to do it. So here I am. I'm glad I ended up here. I've been given an opportunity to see something else, to see a different world. And I got to meet you. This whole thing has changed me. I have to return this kindness. I've been given so much, I have to give it back. It's all right. There's a trick. I'm really used to it anyway. I believe him. 100%. That's it, buddy. You got it. Woohoo! Thanks for watching this week's episode of Vinland Saga. I'll see you next time for more. I have a feeling it's going to be sooner than next week. Holy crap. We're going to find out, once Thorfinn survives this, how is he going to speak to Canute? What's he going to ask for? And will he get it? I don't know. We'll have to find out next time in The Emperor of Rebellion. A title which might be about Thorfinn and might be about Canute, and I have no idea. Thanks for watching this time. See you next time. Get it on the Patreon a little bit early. Much love. Peace.